Shane Falco, a former Ohio State University great quarterback who choked in his final collegiate game and failed to flourish in the pros, begins the video washing the bottoms of people's boats. He finds a medal trophy football labeled Shane Falco, All-American, while underwater, and pretends to be playing football again. Meanwhile, the fictional Washington Sentinels are shown playing a game during which commentators John Madden and Pat Summerall suggest a players' strike over financial disagreements. To prevent injury as the game runs down, Sentinels quarterback Eddie Martell slides to the ground instead of scoring the game-winning touchdown. Lindell, the Sentinels coach, declares a walkout of himself and the rest of the squad after his players' $5 million annual compensation demand is not satisfied. The next day, Sentinels owner Edward O'Neill hires Jimmy McGinty, the team's former coach who was sacked after a dispute with the team's top quarterback, to recruit replacement players during the strike and coach the team for the rest of the season. He tells McGinty that they just need 3 victories in their final 4 games to make the playoffs. McGinty said he will only do it if O'Neill agrees not to meddle with his coaching style. McGinty recruits a diverse range of ragtag and misfit players, including Nigel Gruff, is a Welsh footballer and bar owner who has earned the nickname The Leg for his ability to kick a soccer ball the whole length of the playing field. He also has a habit of smoking on the field and a serious gambling addiction. Walter Cochran is a devout Christian who believes in the power of God. Cochran only played 1 game in the pros before blowing out his knee. Earl Wilkinson, alias Ray Smith, a former outstanding defensive back kick returner, is currently incarcerated for assaulting a police officer. He can only play with the approval of Maryland's governor. Daniel Danny Bateman is a cautious, almost shy man in typical interactions with people, but when put in an antagonistic scenario, he goes utterly insane, especially if the color red is around. Defensive captain and linebacker. Jumbo Fumiko #68 is a Japanese sumo wrestler turned offensive tackle who enjoys cooking. The Jackson brothers are 2 blood brothers and former offensive linemen turned bodyguards for rapper ODB who appear to perform best when they are on the same squad. Jamal Abdul Jackson and Andre Action Jackson Clifford Franklin, a stock boy who can outrun everyone but cannot catch anything, is currently working in a tiny market. Brian Murphy is a tight end who would have been drafted in the 1st round if he hadn't been born deaf. McGinty convinces Shane Falco to return to the starting lineup at quarterback. Falco is immediately attracted to the team's head cheerleader, Annabelle Farrell, who likes him but refuses to date him because of her prejudice that all professional sportsmen are prima donnas. Annabelle is also on the lookout for new cheerleaders and employs Heather and Dawn, 2 strippers who audition for the Sentinels cheerleading squad. They are accepted because the other candidates are bad. Annabelle also invites other of their co-workers to join the team. While Heather looks to be the more capable cheerleader, Dawn appears to be the ditzy blonde since she frequently forgets things and spaces out. The Sentinels trail by 4 points with only a few seconds remaining in their debut game with replacement players. McGinty calls a passing play, but Falco panics and switches to a running play. Cochran is tackled just outside the end zone, and the Sentinels lose. The original Sentinels players ridicule the substitute players at a bar that night, resulting in a confrontation between the 2 squads. The substitute players are detained, but they are starting to create team cohesion, which they lacked in the 1st game. The improved team camaraderie results in a last-second field goal victory the following game, followed by another last-second victory the following week, leaving the squad needing only 1 more victory to make the playoffs. O'Neill, on the other hand, informs McGinty that Eddie Martell has crossed the picket line and will be reactivated by the Sentinels for the season finale. McGinty first objects, stating that he would use Falco as his quarterback, but O'Neill persuades him that the team cannot afford to have Falco fumble with the game on the line, especially because they are playing the greatest team in the league, who has had their entire team cross. McGinty, heartbroken, informs Falco that he has been replaced by Martell, but Falco welcomes the news, claiming that it is best for the team because Martell is better than him, to which McGinty responds that Falco has heart and Martell does not. Falco stands Annabelle up on a date because of his depression. In the final game of the season, Martell has trouble connecting with the team due to his prima donna attitude and scolds them whenever he makes a mistake. At halftime, the Sentinels trail 17-0, and reporter asks McGinty what they will need to win the game, to which he replies, "Miles and miles of heart," meant as a message to Falco. Falco hears him say this and comes to the game during halftime, and the rest of the team kicks Martel out of the locker room. Falco runs onto the field at the start of the half and draws loud and thunderous applause from the fans. He apologizes to Annabelle and kisses her on national TV. Cochran is able to run for a score early in the second half before injuring his leg. The Sentinels score again, cutting the advantage to 17-14. McGinty calls for a field goal with only a few seconds remaining in the game to tie the score and send the game into overtime. When the kicker, Nigel the Leg Gruff, arrives, he informs Falco that he will be unable to kick the field goal because numerous men in the audience will take his pub. Falco then takes the snap and goes all the way to the end zone for a touchdown, only to have it called back for a holding call. Falco then walks over to the sidelines and tells McGinty he wants the ball, meaning that he has overcome his fear of choking with the game on the line. Falco throws a touchdown pass to tight end Brian Murphy, and the Sentinels win 20-17 to advance to the playoffs. The Sentinels begin dancing in synchronized formation. When Falco and the other players left the game that night, there were no endorsement deals or victory parades waiting for them. Just a locker waiting to be cleaned out as they all went back to their separate lives. None of them ever playing pro football again when the strike ended. But it didn't matter since each of them was given a second opportunity at fame and glory that would last forever.